Welcome into First Pitch for Wednesday, June 14th. Happy Flag Day. Hopefully, we can grab some winners for you on this Wednesday. We got Jimmy Adams, Bryan Power, Rob Vino to break down the games. Big game breakdown, best bets coming to you. I am Drew Martin alongside. And first up here, our leadoff hitter, Jimmy Adams. Jimmy, what do you got for big game breakdown?
Thanks, Drew. So for today's big game breakdown, we're headed to T-Mobile Park with the question, really, should the Mariners be laying this big of chalk simply because they have Luis Castillo on the mound? I mean, this looks like an awfully big number to me off the opener here. Marlins are playing some pretty good baseball right now. Heading into their game Tuesday night, they'd won 8 of 10. They have a hitter batting right around 400 and Luis Ariz. Jorge Soler's been hitting home runs at a pretty large clip. The bottom line is the Marlins are winning games, and they have an elite pitcher of their own head to the mound here in Yuri Perez. Perez has allowed 1 run total in his past 3 starts, throwing at least 5 innings in each. And his analytics are pretty good. He throws the ball hard. And this isn't exactly a Mariner lineup that's feared by anyone. Yes, Luis Castillo is a very good pitcher, but look, the Mariners have lost 6 of the past 8 times he's taken the mound. He hasn't pitched perfectly, and the Mariners just don't have the offense to back him up. We're getting the Marlins at a very good price. This was released to the clients at over plus 150 as of Tuesday evening. No matter how far it drops, I like it from plus 140 on up. I lean Marlins for this big game breakdown.
Thanks for that, Jimmy. Our two-hole hitter up next, Bryan Power. Check him out, wagertalk.com. Bryan, what do you got for big game breakdown?
Thanks, Drew. Today's big game breakdown is the Guardians at the Padres. So San Diego took last night's series opener 6-3, difference being a Gary Sanchez 3-run homer, which came in a 4-run first inning. Pretty much put the game to bed at that point. Cleveland just does not have the type of offense that can battle back from that kind of deficit. But it should be noted the Guardians ended up out hitting the Padres for the game 9-8. Now, for today, I don't think the Guardians are going to need that much offense. They have Aaron Savale on the hill in 4 starts this year. Savale's allowed just 6 runs total, and 4 of those 6 came back in April when Seattle saw him for the second time in less than a week. So just 1 start, he gave up 4 of those 6 runs. Shortly thereafter, Savale goes on the injured list. He had an oblique injury, but in 2 starts since returning, he's allowed just 2 runs in 10 2/3 innings. Something to keep in mind with this Padres team, guys, they only average 3.7 runs per game here at home, and typically not good off a win, just 13-18 in that situation this season. Going back to the start of May, San Diego has beaten the same opponent on back-to-back days only 1 time, and that was the last place Rockies last weekend. Michael Wacha, let's talk about him. The starter for San Diego on Wednesday. He is someone that I believe is due to regress. Been very reliant on one pitch, that being his changeup. And despite a 3.18 ERA and 1.08 whip, Wacha still ranks in the bottom half of all pitchers in several advanced metrics. We're talking barrel rate, whiff rate, strikeout percentage, expected batting average, expected slugging. I do want to avoid fading a Padres bullpen that has the second best ERA in Major League Baseball since May 1st. So the way I think we should attack this game tonight, guys, is looking at Cleveland plus the half run in the first 5 innings. I think it's a really good value. We're not going to see a lot of scoring. So, let's take a look there. Cleveland plus a half, first 5.
Bryan Power bringing the heat there. Next up, our 3-hole hitter, Rob Vino. Check him out on Twitter at Rob Vino Sports. Robbie, what do you got for big game breakdown tonight?
Yeah, for today's big game breakdown, gonna do something I normally wouldn't do, and that's lay quite a price here, minus 60 cents on the run line with the Tampa Bay Rays at Oakland. Oakland's 7-game winning streak actually has been really nice for them. Last night, of course, the reverse boycott night in Oakland, where they put 27,000 in the stands and came up with an 8th-inning run to win their 7th in a row. But today's matchup just doesn't favor them whatsoever. So I'll step in front of what's currently an Oakland freight train with Tyler Glasnow, who's steadily regaining his ace status here. 3 starts since coming back to the Rays rotation, 84, 88, and 83 pitch counts in his last 3 starts. Those 3 starts total 15 1/3 innings pitched, 20 strikeouts in those 15 2/3. 2.87 ERA, 1.08 whip. Those starts, it's important because those were against Texas, the number 3 OPS team in Major League Baseball, at Boston, the number 8 OPS offense in Major League Baseball, and the LA Dodgers, number 6 OPS offense. So 3 of the best 10 offenses in the league, 3 of the best 8 actually, were faced by Glass. Now, certainly Oakland doesn't fit that bill, number 29 in Major League Baseball in OPS. And despite the win streak right now, the offense has gone sour. Since that Pittsburgh series where Oakland really punished the baseball, 3 of the last 4 games have seen them, score 2, 4, and 2 runs, 8 total runs. If you go through their last 4 games overall in this win streak, 264 game on base percentage, 267 game on base percentage, 289, 282. The batting averages, team batting average in their last 4 games, 167, 194, 212, and 219. So they're not hitting the baseball right now. Again, a couple of 1-run victories against Tampa Bay the last 2 nights with not a lot of offense. So it seems like the offensive surge has died here. And against Glass now, today, I would expect that offensive surge to die a little more. The other side of the equation here is Luis Medina for the Oakland A's. His overall numbers this season are not pretty. 7.53 ERA, 1.56 whip. The team is 1-6 in his 7 starts. They've lost 5 of those 6 by 2+ runs. Want to really focus in, though, on the problem Medina's had with allowing the home run ball, especially at home. He's allowed 6 home runs in 17 innings pitched at home and 855 OPS, and that's better than what it's been on the road. Certainly, it's not good whatsoever. Overall, his home ERA, 5.71. He's only allowed 15 hits at home. Of course, he's only thrown 17 innings. But those 15 hits, 9 of them have been for extra bases. So 60% of the time he gives up a hit, it's for extra bases. And Tampa Bay just happens to own the number 1 OPS offense in Major League Baseball and the number 1 slugging offense. So this is not a good hand-in-glove type fit for Medina today against this Tampa Bay offense. If you go through the Baseball Savant 14 pitching categories where they list poor, middle of the road, or great, Medina ranks in the poor category in 12 of those 14 pitching categories. Not good against this Tampa offense. I think there's a letdown in store here for the Oakland A's after having that night last night where, Hogan Hunter, I think the pitcher's name last night, he couldn't even hear during the game last night because the place was so loud. Not used to having that type of crowd. Probably don't have that type of crowd tonight. I think Oakland's win streak falls here and falls substantially. So we're going to lay 1.5 runs with Tampa Bay minus 160.
Big game breakdown in the books here, guys. It is time for best bets on the hump day special here. Wednesday day and night game, short slate here, but we're breaking it down with best bets, heading back to the top of the order here. Jimmy Adams, guys, go check him out. wagertalk.com, premium plays up and available. He's also putting free plays up. Jimmy, what do you got for best bets? Any final thoughts here for the show?
All right. So look, first off, I have a 5% play going down today. We're 4-1 in our last 5%ers, and we have another advantage play ready to go tonight. You can also take advantage of a fantastic special that has just been released. You can get every single game through the World Series for right around $3 a day. Just another one of the phenomenal specials that is only available at Wager Talk, but free play up on the page. 5% play going down tonight. And I'm going to give you another play here that is a client play, and that is the St. Louis Cardinals as they wrap up their series at Busch Stadium with the Giants. And look, I know it's hard to bet on this Cardinals team right now. Carlos Marmol is going to get fired shortly, and it's been an extremely disciplined season, a bad month of June. But this particular game is a game the Cardinals really need to win. Now, need to win in sports betting does not mean will win, but in this particular game, this is a game that St. Louis can absolutely win. So the Giants have a pretty significant righty-lefty split split on the season. They rank near the bottom of the league in terms of WOBA. They're getting a little bit better as far as batting average, but have not performed well against Southpaws this season. And Jordan Montgomery, he's coming off a gem of a performance. He didn't allow a run on just 3 hits in 6 innings against the Reds in his last start. He also didn't allow an earned run when he faced the Giants earlier this season in San Francisco through 6 innings in that one as well. So complete faith in Montgomery to go out there and have another strong performance against a team that struggles against Southpaws. Anthony DeSclafani, he gave up 2 home runs the last time he faced the Cardinals, and he has some pretty concerning signs with his analytics. A hard hit percentage of 45.2%, a whiff percentage that's among the worst in all of baseball. The bottom line is this particular game just isn't a very good matchup for San Francisco. The Cardinals, it's a getaway game. They got a 6-game road trip coming up. They need this game. They can win it, lay the short chalk, and take the Cardinals for today's best bet.
Next up here, Bryan Power, best bet time. BP, throwing it over to you. What do you got for best bets today?
Thanks, Drew. For today's best bet, we're going to take a look at the Cincinnati Reds against the Kansas City Royals. Each of the last 2 days, I've given out the Reds as a free play winner, so I thought for today's show, why not make it 3 in a row? As mentioned yesterday on Wager Talk Today with Prez and Teddy, I am holding a 19-1 ticket on the Reds to win the NL Central. The Reds, after winning the last 2 days, they come into Wednesday not only having won 7 of their last 9 games, but they're just 2.5 games back of that division lead. So I'm feeling pretty good with that 19-1 ticket in what is, I feel, the weakest division in the sport, the NL Central. And I see the Reds finishing the sweep tonight, guys, against a Royals team that has now dropped 8 in a row while being outscored 51-22 in the process. I think that by any objective measure, Kansas City has been the second worst team in all of baseball this season. Only Oakland worst, obviously. But as Rob pointed out, with the A's having, picked it up on their best streak of the year, right now a case can be made the Royals are the worst team in baseball at this moment. I think just as was the case each of the last 2 days, it's a great price to fade a terrible Royals team. And yesterday, the Royals had Jordan Lyles on the mound. They are now 0-14 when he starts this season. Tonight's starter, Lynch, he has not recorded a win since last August. He's only started 3 times in 2023, but he's posted a 4.41 ERA, a 1.47 whip. The Royals bullpen, they were pretty effective last night, but generally they have not been good. Looking at the Reds starting pitching, that is the question mark, as it was last night with Brandon Williamson. But like Williamson, Thursday starter Ben Lively gets to face a Royals lineup that's topped 4 runs in only 2 of its last 15 games, hitting .208 over the last week. And the Reds bullpen, guys, is improving. There were certainly some shaky moments in last night's game, in the 8th inning in particular. But between 4 Reds relievers, they allowed just 1 hit in last night's win. I just think these are 2 teams heading in opposite directions right now. The Reds have an MLB leading 22 come from behind victories this season. Whole lot of enthusiasm with the recent call-up of Ellie De La Cruz. Well, the Royals, they're just not bringing anything to the table at the moment. Back the road team at a decent price again. Best bet for the show, Cincinnati Reds.
Last here, we got Rob Vino. Robbie, what do we got for best bets on the Wednesday slate?
Okay, for today's best bet, we're going to go out to Arizona, 3rd game of the 3-game series, and shorten this one up. Something I do like to do, play first 5, match the starting pitchers up, and keep the bullpens out of it. Here we'll play first 5 under the run total of 4.5 minus 115. Couple of starters on the hill here that are really in good form. Let's start with Ranger Suarez, who the last time he saw the Diamondbacks, he was kind of fresh off the IL. Things didn't go well for him in Citizens Bank that day, although the Phillies won the game. But in that start against the Diamondbacks, he threw 5 innings, gave up 5 earned runs in the first 3 innings. So again, it wasn't great. It was a little rough for him then. But since that game in particular, he's made 3 starts. Those 3 starts have covered 6 2/3 innings, 7 innings, and 6 2/3. Pretty long starts for Ranger Suarez against the New York Mets. At the New York Mets, actually, was one of them where Pete Alonso was still part of that Mets lineup. Threw at Washington, 7 innings. Washington, by the way, number 6 batting average in all of Major League Baseball and the number 5 OPS team against left-handers. And then he threw 6 2/3 at home against the Dodgers, the number 4 offense in Major League Baseball and the number 4 OPS team against left-handed pitching. Those 3 starts, 19 and 2/3, 17 hits allowed, a 1.12 whip, a 1.83 ERA. His June ERA right now is 1.38. Only given up 4 extra base hits in his last 3 starts. So you can see the steady improvement, rapid improvement of Ranger Suarez, who they have now stretched out to where he can cover 6 and 2/3, 7 innings, and to where he's thrown against really good offensive teams against left-handed pitching and done the job in all instances. So we look at Suarez first 5 because that's the way we want to play this game. His first 5 innings pitched, those last 3 games, only 1 earned run allowed to the Dodgers, 1 earned run allowed to the Washington Nationals, and 1 earned run allowed to the New York Mets. 1 run overall in each of those starts. So that's good for the under if he continues on that pace here. Look at the other side. Arizona's Merrill Kelly. The right-hander has been really consistent all season long. In fact, I think Arizona's won his last 8 decisions. But let's go to his first 5 inning results. 13 starts this year. 10 times Merrill Kelly has held the opponent to 2 runs or less in the first 5 innings. That's 76.9% of the time. We could take that a step further. He's only allowed 1 earned run or less in 9 of those 13, 69.2% of the time. So real good chance here that Merrill Kelly once again holds the opposition to 1 earned run or less inside the first 5 innings. Like I say, 2 or less in 10 of those 13. Really good numbers. The Phillies haven't had an opportunity to face Merrill Kelly in quite some time. It's been since 2019. Merrill Kelly's a much different pitcher now than he was in 2019. And I think that should be advantage Kelly at least through the first couple of times through the lineup. Left-handed batters against Merrill Kelly this season, 181 batting average. That kind of limits, or, in theory, limits Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Cody Clemens, Brandon Marsh. Righties just hitting 224, so not much more success for righties off of Merrill Kelly. In this particular park, Chase Field, Merrill Kelly's home park, teams are only hitting 184 against him. So all these numbers add up to really good starting pitching through the first 5 innings here. I'd expect strong efforts one more time out of these two guys as far as first 5 innings is concerned. Let's keep the bullpens out of it. The price is fairly reasonable here at 15 cents, and the 4.5 total to me was reasonable as well. So we're going to play it that way as today's best bet. Philadelphia at Arizona. First 5 innings under 4.5 runs, minus 115.
All right, guys, I'll finish it up here with my best bet for the slate. Night game here, 9:40 Eastern, 6:40 Pacific. We got the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Philadelphia Phillies. And in the overnights here, guys, again, we're recording a little bit early, but low water mark as low as minus 125 on the home D-backs. We got Merrill Kelly on the hill. I'm listing Merrill Kelly here, and it's minus $1.25. Low water mark as high as minus 135 right now. D-backs at home. Couple reasons why. First off, Merrill Kelly, 8-3, under a 3 ERA, and he's won 7 straight decisions. His last loss that he took on his record was all the way back on April 22nd. So he's been hot, one of the hotter pitchers in MLB. And we're talking about Arizona here. They scored 9 runs on Monday, heading into Tuesday's slate. They've won 7 in a row. So at worst, they've won 7 of their last 8. This is a hot team. And of course, Philadelphia, the Phillies, kind of disappointing this season. Under 500 baseball, up against Arizona in the desert. We got the D-backs, arguably the most surprising team in MLB. First place, Arizona Diamondbacks in the NL West. Not sure how many people had that before the season started. And they're winning over 65% of their games in the desert. Home team, moderate price tag here, guys. My best bet, the Arizona Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly as the listed pitcher. So that's going to do it for the Wednesday show. Guys, go cash those tickets and go check out Jimmy Adams, Bryan Power, Rob Vino at wagertalk.com. That does it. Please smash that like button, guys, and we'll be back early for the Thursday first pitch. Come back and join us right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Subscribe. Please like the video. Feel free to reply below. That does it for Wednesday's slate. Cash those tickets.